Hi Harmonies, Victoria here. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're feeling good, and if not, I hope this little video will help you tonight, maybe to get a good night's sleep. So today I've got Nadine coming in for a reflexology treatment. You've seen Nadine before having a core therapy with me. And thank you so much. I really appreciate all your support, subscriptions, and your likes. Please do comment. Let's have a chat. I want to know how you're feeling. Maybe tell me what you're grateful for today. Please do hit the bell so you never miss another premiere. I want to let you know that I really appreciate you all. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this little video. Let's spread a little healing. So I'm putting a couple of drops of corn mint, lavender and sweet marjoram on my hands, and then I just want you to take a few deep breaths. Lovely. So you may taste it eventually after a couple of breaths. You may feel cool eyeballs. It'll come through all your senses. And this particular mix is so good for getting rid of headaches. So I'm going to put another couple of drops on a tissue. And then I'll just place that just here so that you can breathe it during the treatment. And I've put a little bit of the Tropic Vitamin Toner on a couple of eye pads. I'm just going to place those over your eyes. So this is going to be the eye pillow over the top. Nice cooling eye pillow. So this contains rose, mint and lavender petals. So again, lovely and cooling, just sitting into the eye sockets there. If you get fed up with it at any point, just take it off, that's absolutely fine. So I've got here some cooled sponges to just wipe down the feet, and I'm just applying a little Roman chamomile hydrolat. Roman chamomile is naturally anti-inflammatory, stress relieving, and whatever goes on the feet we also feel and smell and taste in our senses. So at some point it may be tasted up in the mouth. So I'm just going between each toe, just cooling with lovely cooling sponges, and round the back of the foot, up the sole, soothing away the stresses and the heat of the day. Lovely. So at first, just having a little feel of the feet, how they present themselves at first. It's quite interesting to suss out how the feet arrive, what they're telling me about their day, what's going on, before I do the preliminary relaxation to the feet and the reflexology. It's quite a good way to start, to actually have a little bit of a suss out, see what the feet are telling me. A little bit of tension there. Nice and soft in the upper soft area, upper fascia, tiny bit of clicks and crunches at the top, and then the big toe on the left side, a little bit tense, not too bad. Yeah, that feels like it needs some energy putting into there, whereas this one feels entirely different. So interesting how one foot can be different from another. Okay, so I'm going to start off the assessment now, which with Swiss reflex treatment we tend to have a feel of each system of the body in turn. So I'm supporting with one hand while just having a little feel. First of all, here, of the solar plexus. The solar plexus is a network of nerves that gathers together just underneath the diaphragm, which obviously is the muscle that powers our lungs, our breathing. And this network of nerves here can feel very tense depending on what's going on in our lives. It tends to feel more relaxed if we are happy with ourselves, if we feel deeply content. That's feeling a little tense, so I'm just going to make a note. And then I'm going to feel the sciatic nerve that comes from the lower back down through the buttocks. I'm feeling quite firmly here, and then up down the side of the foot, the heel, and then through the ankle, up behind the ankle bone. That feels okay to me. Just going to come across and feel the other solar plexus. It feels very similar. It's not too bad, but I can feel that could be better. I just want that to relax a little bit more. So just feeling again the other sciatic nerve from the lower back across through the buttock and up that side of the leg here. Yeah, behind that ankle bone. Now I'm going to feel into the skeletal system. So I'm going to start at the neck. So this is the outside of the right side of the neck. And if you've been watching my other videos, you know that I'm often saying that necks have a little bit of a raw deal. They're a little bit of a design fault. We tend to hold our heads forward, whether we're looking at computers, phones, or even just walking. And so that puts such an added strain onto our spine, especially the top of the spine, those 7 vertebrae of the neck. So this area here, this is now behind the right side of the neck. This area really could do with extra support, a bit of strength. Now feeling into the left side, around the back. I'm just continuing the line from the other foot. And then around. So around the back and around. I think these are going to really benefit from some reflexology. And then working in the more structural system, I'm going to start on the upper spine. So this is the shape of Nadine's spine here. And we all have a different foot shape and we all have a different spine shape. But they tend to copy each other on each person. So I'm feeling down the neck, through the thoracics. It's not too bad. it's giving. You can see it's bouncing a little. That's a really good sign. A little bit tense here, so that would be very upper lumbar, so I'd say about L1, 2. Yeah, they're clicking and they're quite tense then. I think they might even be fixated. So I'm going to help with the lumbar, then coming round the other foot, coming down the neck, the thoracics. Yeah, and it's the same on the other foot. Quite often one foot will emulate the other. If there's tension on one side of the spine, there may well be tension on the other side. So I'm going to be working on both sides of the lumbar. Now coming up to the shoulder. Now this is actually the scapula, the shoulder blade, and nice large shoulder blade. I'm just feeling with my thumb to see if it's clicking. So lots of things can be felt here. It might feel bruised, it might feel like a sharp pain, it might feel numb, it might feel like it's full of fluid, or it might just be incredibly painful, but I can feel this doesn't feel too bad. There's no particular clicks. That doesn't feel too bad to me, so that's great news. Then coming over to the left scapula, coming up, always upwards, doing this lovely caterpillar movement, working my thumb in frequent little pushes. Oh, that's good. Now over to the shoulder point, which is this rounded area here, working up, through the shoulder point, and I frequently feel issues here in reflexology checks, assessments on people, and it can either feel sore, my word for it normally would be a little vulnerable, like the shoulder point feels exposed and maybe a bit weak, a little vulnerable, but actually in this case it feels okay. There's no particular, oh, there's a tiny little click then, no particular clicks or gravelly feeling. Just coming over to the left side, working up. That's good. Sometimes the feet react when I'm working on them. They give a little shake or a judder, and that might mean that the person has reached that lovely point in relaxation where they're really switching off and almost the body has forgotten they're having a reflexology treatment. So having done a little bit of structural, I'm just going to carry on with some joints. So this protruding bony area low down on the outside of the foot here is the hip, as it would be on the body, protruding bony area. So the hip feels okay, maybe a little bit exposed. I'm just going to make a mark on that so I know to treat it. And then above there we've got the elbow. Yeah, that definitely feels a little bit sore. And then lower than there we've got the knee, that feels okay. So coming over the other side, first of all, the middle bony area, we have the hip. Same again. And then above we have the elbow. Doesn't feel too bad that side, interesting. And then lower we have the knee. And that feels okay too, so that's good news. And then I'm going to be checking the respiratory system. So we're going to come up through the right lung, this padded area just underneath the middle 3 toes. That feels all right, so that's good. So that bodes well for breathing. A tiny little bit of sore there, so that's upper left for me. Bodes well for breathing, getting good deep breaths in, not breathing too shallowly. That's a really good sign. And of course, this time of year, it's been a really hot day here in England. It's been about 28 here, and I think it's going up to 31 to 33 over the next few days. So obviously in this hot weather, it can bring on more breathing difficulties, for instance, asthma. But that feels all right to me on both sides. That's great news. I'm going to have a look at the sinuses now. So I'm just supporting around the front of the toes and then feeling with my thumb on each tiny toe pad. Feels okay. And the other side, little flicks. Probably a little bit ticklish. Little bit ticklish. And then we're going to come up to the eyes and ears. So, trying not to be ticklish, I'm just going to have a little feel between the second and third toe, just down on this ledge. So that's the right eye. And then the ledge between the fourth and fifth toe, that will be the right ear. They feel fine. Feeling across to the left. And the ear. All good. Great news. Okay. So we're now going to come over to the digestive system. So I'm going to feel into the liver first of all. This is this large organ below the harder tissue of the upper foot. So I'm feeling fairly firmly, positively in a triangular shape from my left to the right, going across. So even though I'm only assessing and checking, I'm treating at the same time, because that would be the usual direction of flow for the liver, for me to be able to help expel any toxins. And it feels fine to me. That's great news. I do happen to know that Nadine's doing a detox, an aloe vera detox at the moment. So that liver will be feeling good with all the aloe vera and the supplements for having a nice 9-day detox. And then coming across to, I think we're going to do the intestines next on the right hand side. Just going to support the foot underneath. And a little bit clicky lower down. And then I'm going to come through the ileocecal valve, which is bottom left here. And I'm feeling it, but also treating it at the same time. That would be the direction that the valve needs to go. And then working up the ascending colon and across. Lovely. All feels good to me. Then back to the rest of the small intestine on the soft tissue part of the instep. Feels good. Then I'm just going to have a little feel of the stomach and pancreas. And then across the transcending colon. down the descending, and just vaguely across the bottom there, where it would come out. A little bit dense there. Okay, but apart from that, absolutely great. I know with this detox, Nadine's having less to eat at the moment, less actual solid food, more aloe vera and shake and supplements. So the digestive system doesn't feel congested at all, which is a good sign. Now I'm going to come on to the lymph system. So working around the front of the toes here, in between the first and second toe, I'm just going to caterpillar move my thumb down the front there. It feels a little bit swollen there, so I'm just going to make a mark on my little drawing. And then on the same foot, I'm just going to check the inguinal lymph, which is around the outside of the ankle bone. Again, tiny little bit swollen there, so I'm just going to make a mark for that. So again, on the left foot, coming to the top of the cervical lymph, up in the chest area. Same again, and then round that ankle bone, just here, round the bottom, the side and the top. Again, feeling a little bit swollen, so I'll definitely be working on both of those lymph. Now I'm going to work on the reproductive system. So I'm going to start on the right foot on the ovary, which if you were to draw a line between the ankle bone and the outer point of the heel, it would be about halfway. So that's where my thumb is just gently pressing now. And then I'm going to extend the movement in a caterpillar track across over the foot and down the other side. Now this is in between, again, in between the ankle bone and the heel point, about halfway through. Here is the uterus, or rather the right side of the uterus. Now in men, of course, this would be the testes on the outside and the prostate on the inside, in between the feet. So coming round to the other side, just going to check the reproductive system. I can do it by feel. So I've got one finger there on the left ovary, and then working my way over in a caterpillar track to the inside, the left side of the uterus. Feels good. I think I will be working on those, but they feel good. Thanks for watching Harmonies. Please tune in next week to see the second part of Nadine's Reflexology. See you soon. Let's spread a little healing.